Whoa! Alright, so that totally changes the light. I got the camera set up in the doorway so you can see into my laundry room, which is kind of a mess. So don't take a really good look at the laundry facility. We're here to see the grow room. I've got the lights turned off right now because if I turn them on, it is so bright you actually can't see me. At least you can see me when I'm standing underneath these, but it's hard to see me when I turn the grow lights on. So I'm gonna turn the grow lights on, and yeah, we'll bring you. Whoa! We'll bring you a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more of what's growing on. The first thing I want to point out is if you do look at my grow lights that I got here, these are 200 watt, a 200 watt replacement light bulbs. And they actually only put, I believe, if I remember just off the top of my head here, I believe they're putting off like, I want to say 40 watts of light, or actually 40 watts, and they're putting off 200 watts of light. This one has a very blue tint to it. I don't know if you can see it, the difference, but it's more bluish color. They are both the same brand, just two different color spectrums. This one is, like I said, it's more blue. They're both CFLs. And it puts off more of the bluer light and more of the growth light. And then this one is red, or more of in the red spectrum, and it puts off more of the fruiting light. Back here behind, you see I got this light here. There's actually two bars here. I don't know if you can make that out. These are the T5s is what these both are. You know, and to be honest with the T5, I'm not head over heels about the T5s at all. They're very expensive. They don't put off as much light as you would get from the CFLs. The CFLs put off a lot more light. And yeah, I'm not. I could live without them, honestly. I would rather do two. I mean, these were $20 a piece, so I could do probably two or three more of these instead of spending the money on those, which was I think 40. The small one was $40. The top one was like 60. And that's the fixture and everything too, so it's gonna cost a little bit more money, but I could live without them. They don't put off as much light as I would prefer. The other thing that too I wanted to show you, I've got this little teeny CFL, and see it's a 15 watt CFL, and it puts off 900 lumens, and it's basically a 40 watt light bulb. It puts off the 40 watt light bulb, standard light bulb amount of light. And it's a darn good light bulb. And you can buy these, gosh, you can like three of them for $5 or $6 or something like that. They're really, really, really good. They work. If you have to have, if you can't afford or can't find these great big bulbs, which by the way, these aren't the biggest I've seen. I've seen even bigger bulbs. If you can't find those, you can always go and get these and use, 5 or 6 of them in place of one of the bigger ones. 900 lumens, by the way, for growing plants, 900 lumens is not bright, not even close to bright. You want at least a minimum, I would say, of 2,000 lumens. You need a lot more light than what 900 is. I believe this one is almost 3,000 lumens, and this is 2,300 lumens. So yeah, you definitely want brighter bulbs. I'm gonna put this off to the side here. Okay, so this is the makeshift grow room in the summertime. It is July 8th today, and it is very, very down. There's not a whole lot growing in here. I've got most of everything that was in here is outside growing. There's a few things in here that I have that I didn't have last time I brought you in here, and there's a few things in here that are still here, but they're bigger or different. The first thing I want to point out, I'm sure you all are seeing the fly strips. Fly strips, yes. If you're having an in makeshift grow room, a fly strip or 2 or 3 is always a good idea. Because not only do they catch the flies, but they catch gnats and all kinds of things that fly around. And it kind of, they don't catch everything, but they catch a lot of stuff. So especially like I said, summertime, lots of house flies in the summertime. So especially if it's really hot and you leave the door open because it's cooler outside with a fan than it is to plug the old rickety AC in, which got replaced, by the way. Okay, it's a total side note. So I've got fly strips. Always a great idea in the grow room. Okay, this was sitting out. So these are 2-liter bottles. I am addicted to soda. It is one thing I've been trying to get rid of and trying to kick for the longest time. And buying them in a 2-liter is cheaper. The more you buy in bulk, the cheaper it usually is. Not always the case, but usually the cheaper soda is. I have done a lot of different things on my channel with soda bottles. You've seen me cut them, especially the green ones, invert them and make pots out of them, which I must have in storage because they're not down below. These would make, cut the bottom of the top off of them, and they make little terrarium-like things. Or vice versa. You can do all kinds of stuff with them. The thing that I like to do with these more than anything, fill them full of water and set them aside for a month or even a couple of weeks. What happens is we live in a city, kind of a city. We live in a city. And they chlorinate the water. Well, they do that to clean the water to get rid of all the bad bacteria and stuff that causes all kinds of nasty, bad, horrible diseases. And I'm totally down with that. I'm totally cool with that. But my plants don't like the chlorine in the water. It really does stunt their growth. It causes the soil to become very sterile. And the last thing you want in your soil is it to be sterile. You want microorganisms in your soil. That's what breaks down the different particles in your soil so the plant can absorb the nutrients and the minerals and that kind of stuff. So chlorine in water is bad. I do not ever recommend anybody take water right out of the faucet and pour straight into the plants. There are other things in water besides chlorine that our cities like to pump into our water. A lot of, fluoride, for instance. Fluoride is not good for you. Do your research. Read what all you want. Do your research. Don't have to take my word for it. I've done my research in many, 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 many different places over the last 6 years. I am not closed-minded to the idea. I know what it is. I know all about it. I don't want to be consuming any more than I have to. It's bad enough I have to take a bath or a shower, and it is being absorbed through my skin. But I don't want to give that to my plants. Fluoride, if I remember correctly, does not break down when it sits a long period of time. So I filter the water on most situations, which gets rid of a small percentage of it, but it's better than nothing. If you have a well or something like that, I still would recommend storing the water and using distilled water. Anything like if you lead, for instance, or chemicals that are in a neighbor's field or something like that will get down into the water system, and the aquifer will get polluted and that kind of stuff. In minute amounts, I'm sure, but it still probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So enough about water. I got things going. This right here, if you remember, why don't you come a little closer here, is my pineapple plant. Now, the last time I showed this pineapple plant, it had a little bit of growth, like my sound effects, a little bit of growth down in the bottom. Actually, for the longest time, I didn't think this was going to grow. But I'll tell you what, I listened to Ray on the Praxis channel, and I can never remember the numbers to his channel, but it's the Praxis channel. And he showed on one of his videos how to cut the top of the pineapple off and strip back all the leaves on it, and there are roots in there, and then you put it in soil and water it, and it grows. And that's what I did. And it took a long time, but that's what I did. These spikes, or these leaves, are still babies, and these are going to be probably about 4 feet long within the next month or so. The pineapple grows these super long, super thin, super sharp leaves, and it just gets big, 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 and eventually you'll end up with a baby pineapple growing on the top. The bigger these get, the sharper the ends get, because they dry out. So you will stab yourself, and they will make you bleed. Right now, these are babies, so they're soft, they're pliable, but they will, they're thorny, so they will actually make you bleed. On the ends of them, it's kind of like little razor blades, like a serrated edge. So if you rub it the wrong way, it will actually cut you. So you've got to be very, very careful. I don't believe it's like a cactus, but it definitely knows how to protect itself. Very subtly, but knows how to protect itself. So all these leaves down here at the bottom, these are all original to the pineapple when I bought it as a pineapple. That's why they're all trimmed off. All the rest of them that are pointy and sharp are all new leaves that have come out from the inside. So it's pretty darn cool. I'll take you, let's see. I'll bring you over here. So come over this way. And I'll bring you up a little bit. All right, so this is the new addition to the makeshift grow room. I'm going to grow this all winter long. And I am taking in, let's see how I'm trying something new here. And you're not supposed to be able to do this, but I'm trying it and seeing if I can do it. These are pepper plants, and I've got banana pepper here. I've got a red bell, green bell, and a yellow bell, as well as a jalapeno. There's 5 in total in this pot. Now, you shouldn't be able to grow these to full size with 5 of them. Their roots are going to get just mangled, and they're going to get so root bound, and it's going to be really insane. I want to see longevity. I want to see how long I can grow 5 pepper plants in a 5-gallon bucket and see how long it lasts for. And I also want to see which one's going to outlive the rest, and which one's going to die first. This is a project. This is more of a challenge for me. This is something I'm doing for fun, to keep me occupied this fall and this winter. None of these peppers have been outside, so they are 100% bug free. They've been in this pot now for almost 2 months, and they're really small for 2 months. Are they not? Really small. They're about a foot tall. The reason why they're small is because I've hacked them and cut them and hucked them and cut them. For example, I don't know if you can see, but I cut them the first time down here where my pinky's at. And then I let them grow big, and I cut them back, and I just cut them again to the size they're at. The reason why I'm going to let them grow and cut them, let them grow and cut them, let them grow and cut them, and I'll do that probably, I don't know, 15, 20, 1,000 times, is because the more you cut them back, the more they grow. If you just let them grow, they'll grow for a foot, and then they split and they fork out. And they grow a little ways and they split and they fork out, kind of like this. I don't know if you can see this, but so it grows for a while and then it splits, and then it grows for a while and it splits. Well, if you cut them back, so you leave say 3 or 4 branches, and then you cut like I did on this one. Turn this back. So I've left 4 branches here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out of, actually there's 5. This is one fell off. And then I cut it back. Out of here, 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 and here, I'm going to get new growth. So it's going to get bushy. And then I let those grow a little bit, and each one of those I cut back, and then each one of those I cut back, and they'll just get big, and then they'll get bushy. The other thing it'll do is it's going to make them so that they are more stable of a plant. It'll give the trunk more time to thicken up and get stable, and they'll be, in the long run, they'll be bigger, thicker, healthier plants because I did that. So I don't remember what this one's called. It is some sort of pine. I've been wanting these for years because it's a big part of my childhood. My mom had one. Actually, my mom had 2 or 3 of them. But after about 10 years, they were like almost 6 feet tall, I think. And so I bought this at Christmas, and there was about 6 or 7 in the pot here, and they all died except for this one. And I finally figured out why these are dying. I was overwatering them. They like to completely dry out before you water them again. They're more of a desert style plant. They really like to dry out. So I don't remember what they're called. It's some sort of fir, I think. They're not really a pine tree, even though they look like they're a pine tree. They're not really a pine. But anyways, yeah, I'm trying to keep this alive. This is my challenge, is to keep this plant alive. So we'll see how that goes. It'll probably be dead before Halloween, but I gave it my best, And it's July, and I've had it for 6 months, or 7 months. So it's good. It's still growing. My wife got a lily for Mother's Day, and it is still growing. It's not the best in the world, but it's still growing. It's got these little white spots on it that are kind of like thin, and you can see the light through them. And yeah, it's really pretty. And then it's even variegated on the stalk itself too, which is kind of cool. And I'm not, let's see, it's a calla lily. Gold Rush is what this is called. It's really pretty. This is the first time I've ever really grown a lily, so I'm kind of curious to see how that turns out and how that grows and so on. There's this one back here. I'm not sure what it's called. It's another one of those variegated plants. It's a very typical house plant in this area. If anyone knows the name of it, please feel free to shoot me the name of this one. It's doing great. I like it. It needs to be. I just repotted it about 2 weeks ago, and it's probably going to need to be repotted again. I need to put it in a much larger container. Let's move on to the thing that I'm sad about. Let's see. Yeah, well, how well you can see this. Let me move you up a little bit. Let's see. So, we're going to talk about this guy. This is my avocado. And I'm very, very sad. I want to cry, actually. I'm so sad. The grow tip was up to about here. I made this silly mistake of um, taking it upstairs after transplanting it and putting it by a northern facing window. And apparently, the north facing window was too bright of sunlight, even though it was pretty dark. But it was too bright of sunlight, and all of the leaves got sunburned. I don't know if you have seen my video or not about that, but I was asking what happened to my plant, what was going on. Well, what was going on was the fact that everything was the leaves were all sunburning, and all the leaves dried up and fell off. I was like, okay, it's all good because I got a really nice grow tip on it, and everything's gonna be fine. About a week after that, the grow tip dried up and started to die. And I said, oh, no, 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 I can't have that. So I'm going to cut the grow tip off. And maybe that will freak it out so it'll put side shoots in. And it has. There's 2 side shoots here. It's put off many, many, many new grow tips all along the sides. But they only get to maybe 1/8 of an inch, and then they dry up and die and fall off. So I don't know what to do. It's not going to be a super tall plant like I wanted. It's going to be short and bushy. So I need to figure out how to get more side shoots on it, if that's going to be the case, because I want it to be bushy. The only thing I can think of at this point in time is to cut the grow tips on both of these and hope that something else forms. But I'm kind of afraid to do that because last thing I want to do is kill it, seeing the fact that it's been around and alive for probably about 3 years now. And next to it, you can kind of see, and I'll is a tomato. That's right. This is a First Lady. Is exactly the exact same as I've got outside growing in my garden, except this was a cutting that I decided to keep in the house, and it never went outside. It's kind of droopy right now because it needed some more water. I think it dried up a little bit, but it'll come back with like a champ. It'll be just fine. So it was long and lanky, like most of my tomato plants this year. And so I trimmed all the bottom leaves off of it and branches off of it. And I put it down into this 5-gallon bucket. Down at the very bottom, the main root ball is actually down at the very, very bottom. And then I filled it all up with potting soil. You'll say, well, what's that green stuff you got sitting on top? Well, I'm going to try something else. I have taken the trimmings off of the pepper, and I've cut them up really fine-ish, and I put them around the base of the tomato. The reason I want to do this, I want to see if I can do a chop and drop method, kind of like a permaculture kind of thing, and see if that adds a little extra nutrients, not a lot, but a little extra nutrients to my potting soil. I also need to look into getting some sort of formula or something to get me some what's it called? Bacteria of the good bacteria that should be in the soil to help break the soil down too. So I want to try to find some of that. I also want to get some organic potting, organic fertilizer. I am not 100,000% organic, but I do my best to stay as close to organic as I can. I watched a video last night I watched a video last night by Julie. Julie has an allotment in England, and also Julie paints and all that kind of stuff too. And Julie was talking about not being organic. and not trying necessarily to be organic, but trying to do the best possible. And I totally understand, because sometimes you have to use antifungal, and sometimes you have to use products and things to keep your plants alive. I do not want to have any, if possible, um, things that are definitely synthetic, like Miracle Grow and that kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of those companies. Um, they got good products, but I don't. I don't know. My thought is the less I touch it, the better. The less things and chemicals and products I put on it, the more natural it is and the better it is for me to consume, as well as, if I don't have to, I'm not going to. I'm gonna try to find whatever natural means possible in order to grow my plants. Also, on another note, my peppers. I've harvested a ton of peppers outside, and I have not harvested any inside. I have been cutting and trimming off all of the buds and the flowers, because I want to put more energy in the growth of the pepper plants instead of into fruit. With that being said, these are mature plants. They will put off fruit and put off fruit and put off fruit. Hypothetically, they'll put off fruit whenever. So if I build up the root system and build up the plant as much as I can, then and make it nice and healthy and strong, then when that's done, then I can get as much fruit as I pretty much want. And that's kind of what I'm going for with the peppers. The tomato, I haven't had any suckers on the tomato yet. I did when it was really little, but now that it's been in this pot, I haven't had any. And if I get, the style I'm going to use for this, if I get any suckers on this fall and throughout the first half of the winter, I will pluck them. The only thing I'm going to let grow on there is fruit and new healthy growth that's going to go straight up. I'm going to grow a vine is basically what I'm doing. Eventually the pot will be on the floor, and then the grow tip, however tall a grow tip is, will be up above where the table area is. And then I'll just, I'll basically have a big whip of vine that will be curled up on the bottom or on the ground next to the pot. That's what I'm gonna do, because I've seen it done before and I've wanted to try growing that way for a long time, and it takes up a lot less space. You don't have a bush to deal with, so you don't have the width of a bush. You don't have all the extra leaves and all the extra mass and stuff. Being inside, it also helps me where the foliage is away from the pot. Helps me keep down blight. I really do not want blight on my tomato plant, especially through the winter. This is the plant that I plan on, crossing my fingers. If I have to bring another one in this fall, I will, but I really don't want to. This is what I want to use for next year. So I will eventually in the spring, probably say February, March, start taking suckers off and putting them in pots and growing them out to be in full-size plants, which in turn I will take and put outside. And again, probably pick the top 3 like I did this year. And those are the ones that I'm really going to baby and make sure that I trim them back to make sure that I get as many suckers at the base as I can, so it's a much fuller plant. That's the plan. But with gardening, you can plan and plan and plan and plan all you want, but there's no guarantee that what you plan on doing is actually going to happen, because there's all these different circumstantial things that occur, like blight or like whatever, bugs and whitefly and all the other different things. So that's it for today. That's pretty much my makeshift grow room. The only thing I didn't show you was the vine stuff that's growing currently underneath the avocado. But you've seen all those before. They just were in separate pots back when they were in the grow room. But yeah, oh, let me show you the avocado seed. I'm actually going to give up on it. I really think I am. It's been almost 3 months, and about every 3 or 4 days I change the water out so I don't get any algae buildup. But I'm not seeing any roots, no real cracking going on. There's a little seam in there, but it's been there for a long time. So I'm really thinking about just giving up on it. Either that or just letting it sit there and do whatever, let it rot, whatever. It's not, causing any bugs or flies or any gnats or anything nasty yet. So, but it's been there forever. The next avocado I do, I might just put it in the ground and forget it. Oh yeah. Oh, next time I want to show you my lemon tree. It's gotten really, really big and it's growing like crazy. I have a new spider plant that I want to show you. I have a shamrock that I want to show, and a couple of other little house plants. Also, there's a jade plant. Hopefully someday it'll be a jade tree that I need to repot. And when I go to do that, I'm going to add a new jade to it. I've got another little toy jade. It's kind of cute that I want to put with it, as well as a cactus. So I'll make a little terrarium. No, not terrarium. Take a little ceramic dish, or I'll figure something out for those. So that's what I want to show you next time. And of course, I want to give you an update on the crown of thorns and that kind of stuff too. So, all right. Well, I'm the only Sir Cracker. I just talk forever. Never know when to shut up. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything, something you want to talk about, a discussion. I'm not the smartest and the most brilliant person in the world, but if you have a problem with your garden or any of your plants, hey, let me hear about it, and I'll do my best to bounce ideas off of you of what it could be. That's about all I can do. I'm no professional and I'm no expert, but I've done this for a long time and I just kind of do it. So I might have an idea that you haven't thought about yet. All right. Anyways, I gotta get out of here. It's actually really late at night. I've got to go to bed, and yeah. So, all right. Bye for now. See you next time. Oh, like, thumbs up, subscribe, that kind of stuff. Share. Bye. God, how?